Welcome to Raising the Bar, a podcast giving no bullshit marketing advice for Aussie business owners. Raising the Bar cuts through the bullshit, and each week I, Mel Strutt, will take real questions from business owners and break them down with straight talk, real examples, and stories from business owners themselves. No jargon, probably a few profanities, and definitely no BS, because I really don't know any other way. You'll hear how B2C and B2B businesses across Australia are cutting through, proving ROI from their marketing and raising their game, whether that's digital, traditional, or account-based. Expertise takes experience, and that's why we tell stories from lived experience to deliver marketing that raises the standard of what Aussie business owners should expect. Welcome to episode 1 of Raising the Bar, when AI eats search.
Hi, Strutty.
Hi, Mimi.
How are you today?
Very well.
Good. So I'm on, also Meep Meep, and I am the one with the questions. I'm in your sales team and out on the road most days and get pinned with questions from a lot of small to medium business owners. So this is my opportunity to come here and harass you without getting too much shit because we're on a podcast and you can't give me a hard time.
That's fair. It's filmed, so if I hurt you physically, people will know about it. And
about time I have evidence.
Wouldn't happen. But it's a really good point. And my motive for this is twofold. One is that you stop asking me questions all day long and I can actually be a bit more productive and we sort of nail them in one go. And two is that we can send them out to the broader audience of small business owners and hopefully provide some relief to them. So what was the first topic that came up?
So before we jump into it, can you just give us an overview of AI and search, kind of what's been happening in this space?
Yeah, so I guess the first thing to look at is search and go, okay, we've had search engine advertising, and in that we've had SEO and SEA, search engine optimization, search engine advertising. And at the moment, we're seeing a movement away from that and people just looking for things in large learning models or bots. So we know ChatGPT and Claude and Copilot if you're a Microsoft fan. So what we want to do in a search context as digital marketers is actually put an acronym around something just to confuse people as much as we can. And at the moment, the acronym of the day is GEO, so Generative Engine Optimisation. The reality is that isn't cemented in industry yet. So where SEO and SEA, they're firm terms within industry. There's agencies, global agencies that train my staff and make sure that, you know, we're au fait with the latest happenings. Generative engine optimization is a bit of guesswork at the moment. But when we say GEO, or you hear it's not GEO anymore, which does mean something else. Again, we love acronyms that confuse the shit out of people, and that's what we do. GEO, Generative Engine Optimisation. So how do we maximise what we're doing to make sure we show up in AI bots, large learning models?
Yeah. Okay, so with search, a lot of business owners get a fair whack of their revenue from search. Mm-hmm. So in those cases, do they need to be scared, panicked? What's going on there?
If you're a company that relies on Google search to sell products or services or attract work, you really do need to be thinking about it. But, you know, it's not panic stations, but you've got to be asking the right questions. At the moment, there's this statistic being bandied around that, you know, 60% of search now isn't leaving Google because the idea that, you know, you've seen that AI overview that Google's producing and it sort of goes and searches. So you're not clicking on a website anymore. It's giving you the answer that you want. That's sort of where they're trying to bring in panic. But the reality is that statistic isn't brand new. It's a little bit bigger, but sort of 5-6 years ago, it was only around 63%. So there's only been about 6% movement in that statistic, to be completely honest. And that's because Google has always wanted to keep us in Google and not have us click off to other websites. It's the same reason Instagram makes us find a link tree and then have to click on a link tree rather than just give me the link where I need it, right? They don't want you to leave their platform. So Google, for many years, even before AI, had been doing work to get the content where we want it. So think you Google My Business page, you know, the little square that pops up, it's got the map, usually has a few pictures of the place. Well, what does it have? Directions, you know, it has opening times, it has reviews so we know how good things are. So if we want to go and find things on Google, we very often, and most of the time, we're just looking at that information, we've got what we want, right? So is that place open? It's open. What is that place's address? Press it in Google Maps. We're not leaving Google. So yeah, I think that statistics to scare people a little bit, but if you are generating most of your marketing from pull marketing in search, yeah, it's time to start thinking about it, and you should definitely be talking to your marketers about what to do. Or listen to the rest of the podcast.
That's all really great information, but how are business owners actually going to show up in these AI searches?
Yeah, so the truth is nobody actually knows, so everyone can just tune out of the podcast at this point. There's no silver bullet at this point in time. So AI is still getting discovered. It's like the really early days of search engine optimization. Lots of people think they have the answers, but honestly, if anyone's saying they definitely have the answers, I think run as fast as you can. The good people are trialing and I guess testing and trying to figure out where the answers in ChatGPT are coming from. Two things that we certainly have noticed is that Google My Business is really driving ChatGPT. It drives Claude a fair bit. Obviously, it's not driving Copilot, so Microsoft products, so you're going to get your answers a bit more from Bing, but particularly for things like reviews. So because in an AI search or a large learning model search, we might be saying who is the best at something in particular. It's getting comparison. It's taking the word best and it's going, well, what's the best way to put that together? It's 5-star reviews. So how do we quantify the best? So we see that Google My Business has become an important piece, and we see reviews have become an important piece. I think the other thing I'd really want people to focus on is it's going to be really difficult to be a jack of all trades business. The way that we exploited search engine optimization early on, so I guess a little bit of background, the old traditional Google search is search engine advertising, and we used to use search engine optimization to try and get to the top of Google. And of course, there was search engine advertising, which was paid ads, so pay-per-click advertising, right? Yeah. So people used to exploit search engine optimization, and everyone was trying to figure things out, and we had things like black hat tactics and keyword stuffing, and that's just not going to work in an AI world. ChatGPT is going to see through that stuff. So what we would really encourage is that people understand what they specialize in the best and what they do really, really well. So I guess an example of that is we are the agency for a family lawyer in Perth. Mm-hmm. They are specialists in small business divorce. So a really important asset, high net wealth, and something that's really, really complex. And we've always spoken on that for them in a really natural way for the last decade. That's what we have produced most of their content on. So it's no surprise when you now go into a ChatGPT or a Claude or whatever AI bot you're using and say who's the best divorce lawyer in Perth, then they're naturally going to be high up for that in terms of the answers that ChatGPT gives back to it. So focus on what you're really good at. Make sure that your content has the intention of solving the problems that people might ask in terms of looking for that service. Really focus on ChatGPT, but you've got to be credible. You've got to have the information on your website. You've got to have the information in the blogs, even if you do third-party things like this podcast, that improve your credibility on the topic that you should be, the specialist in to be found. So they're probably the ways that you should be having a look at things.
What about the people who think, if they put all that content out there, it's just going to get scraped and it's not going to actually refer back to their brand, or they won't get that brand awareness, just their content will be taken? Yeah,
I think it's a real risk. I'll be honest, I have such a gorgeous voice for podcasting that I know that people will want to steal it. People might be using me for a podcasting model moving forward. Yeah, listen, I think it's a real risk as soon as you put something out there. There's the opportunity for it to be stolen, and that's probably no different. I'm old enough to remember when search engine optimization became a big thing, and we're working then on content is king. And to be fair, content is still king, but lots of people were concerned about this idea of, I'm putting all these blogs out there, I'm putting all my IP onto the website, I'm putting YouTube videos together, I'm putting social media reels together more recently. But the reality is, I think in these things, you've got to just believe you're the best in what you do, and you've got to believe that your IP is strong enough. So whatever we put out to market, it's still got to be executed by a team. And there's nuance in everything we do that's not written on a piece of paper. I guess a way I always go back to look at IP is that we're probably under this false apprehension that our proposals don't get seen by other people, but they do. We kind of know that they make their way around, and we all have these disclaimers on our email addresses, and we all lose staff to competitors, and people know things. So I guess as a business owner, I hold true to me that I know I'm the best at what I do, and I know my staff are, and I just encourage people to go, well, what IP really can be ripped off and delivered again and again and again? Probably not. But I think ultimately knowing what you do really specifically the best and better than anyone, and having your brand identity with that, it'll put you miles ahead.
Yeah. So if you were to give a business owner a few key tips, high level, how to start showing up in AI search, what would it be? We'll
start with basic search engine optimization principles, because most of the content is coming from local search principles anyway, and the principles that we've always had. So strong website construction. They've got to still go to your website. They've still the LLM still has to go to your website, find the information, and get that information fed through. The architecture of your site, the meta titles, the meta descriptions, all of those elements, the content, the amount of content you have that relates to that one thing. Again, local, Google My Business if you are a bricks and mortar store, or Google My Business is relevant to you. Reviews, and the reviews actually listing what you specialise in. So this lawyer was the best divorce lawyer. As a small business owner, I had peace of mind from the beginning. In a review is a much better review than good lawyer, 5 stars. It's got more of those keywords in there that matter. So basic SEO principles are probably, I wouldn't say 9/10 of the law in generative engine optimization yet. By the way, we don't know if that's the name of it, generative engine optimization. We're all just guessing, but it sounds okay, so we'll go with it. But yeah, basic search engine optimization principles are pretty much aligned with where we think most things are heading. There's probably one key thing that I would say is that, and to be fair, this worked in SEO historically as well, but I think the old crusty way of SEO didn't think they were focused on backlinks and authenticity. The reality is the intentionality, the intent of the search. That's what we want to be looking for. So if you think about the way your potential customers would actually search for something and come up with content that would really match that. I guess at the moment, as you know, because you helped me pull the liner out of my pool about 2 weekends ago.
Helped? Or I pulled it?
You pulled the whole, I wasn't strong enough, Meepy, so it had to be you. But we really appreciate it.
Cup of tea
Strutt family, grateful. That's okay. So as you know, we're renovating the pool. Pool's been emptied and we're trying to change the size of the pool, and that requires us to get a bricklayer. Now, what I want to be able to, and my search intent there is it's quite a specialist job, so I hear. So a pool bricklayer is much more specialised than just a bricklayer that someone who might just build a house or put something together, but this has to be pretty good. So my search actually becomes specialist pool bricklayers Perth or Perth Hills. And I did use ChatGPT to roll through this and actually found Facebook references, which was really cool. And then we were able to sort of discern 2 or 3 different bricklayers that we were going to use. So if you specialise in pool bricklaying as opposed to, pavers and whatever else, house building bricklaying, they're the things that you'd want to write. What things should I be looking for pool bricklayers in Perth? And we're looking for that intention, and we can go for those much longer sentences and much longer questions because we didn't historically write them into Google because we knew it just popped up with bloody keyword answers, and mostly people were doing broad match key terms results, right? Broad match key. So it would just come up with bricklayer and have some aggregator site on it. And when I say aggregator site, someone that pulls together all the different tradies and then just presents you a list of numbers. But with AI, that's changed. That really has changed. And then when you get 2 options, you can say, can you compare these? And it goes out and does the work for you. So think about those search terms, the longer intention questions that someone would ask, and start preparing your content that way. But don't freak out too much about it. If you're doing basic SEO principles, you do something really, really well, I think ultimately you're going to be showing up. Oh, one other hint was search it a lot. Go and have a look. Go and have a look in different search engines and see if you pop up for what you want to be known for.
So do you think these AI tools are a good thing, or do you think it maybe is just falling into that digital headache space for business owners?
Oh, it's a digital headache because it's another thing we have to think about with no time to think about it, and it's another thing we have to find resources for that, aren't necessarily at this point of time adding, I guess, benefit in terms of productivity to the business. So, headache, but with mass benefit to come. And I guess that's on a broader business level. I I had a meeting with someone this week, and they are a very good economist out in the economy, and they actually said, oh, listen, in terms of the impact AI is having on productivity, in the 3 years since it's been measured, it's a net. So for whatever's been saved, it's cost just as much. No one said it's added massive productivity. But I think we're going to see exponential change in that moving forward. So from a business level, I think you've got to be curious. You've got to have your people curious. And I think just investing in making sure you're understanding how it could add value to your business is where we need to be at. I guess from a marketing perspective, if you don't generate revenue from Google or from search anyway, then don't panic at all. Because if people haven't traditionally gone to find you through pull marketing, so pull, I'm out looking for this, I'm looking for a brick paver, I'm looking for a divorce lawyer, I'm looking for a hydraulic hose pipe, then they're not going to suddenly turn around and do that. So I don't think they need to stress. But if you do generate from Google, you need to really be thinking about it. So have a chat to your agency, have a chat to your in-house marketing department if you have one. Are you measuring it is one thing that I think is really important. So we're able to talk to our customers now and say, hey, this much of your search traffic is now coming from these different AI bots. We are seeing conversions from AI. In fact, that divorce lawyer, I think, has had 3 conversions now, maybe 2 conversions from AI, and that's just this year. So just seeing that increase, and there's a few other clients starting to pop through. And for us, it's a bit of a mystery. What did they search unless we ask them, which sucks, because once upon a time with paid, we could really dial down to the exact attribution channel, and that's joy that we take because we're nerds. If search is a big part of how you garner your revenue, you need to be asking those questions. You need to be understanding how much website traffic is coming to you now from those bots, from AI, and you need to be making a plan to say that A, is your current SEO feeding that? Again, that's having that specialisation and knowing exactly what you want to be found for, really, really important. And just making sure that you're on there searching and seeing how you might measure that, what kind of growth you would expect to see in terms of you showing up for the things you really want to show up for, those things you specialise in. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So chatbots they are referring to people's websites, because so many people now are making jokes about not needing a website. Yeah,
listen, it's a slither. It's about 3% across what we can see at the moment, and the Australian stats that's a US stat, about 3%. We host we have clients, managed marketing service clients, where we're actually looking at this data, approximately 100 across Australia, predominantly here in Perth. And the largest shift we've seen is about 3% of website traffic. So that's in where you'd expect it. And ironically, that's that divorce law example. And hey, of course, it's not going to be in your search history. You could clear ChatGPT search before, but you're actually looking at who's best, and law is a really common thing for people to be using AI for at the moment. So it's a slither. I think we can expect that is going to change quite significantly. Might touch on that. Do I need a website? Well, we don't have jobs, let's No, I'm just kidding. No, so I've actually been asking the will websites exist question to my team. So we have these off-site sort of planning strategy sessions a couple of times a year, and will we need a website? It's probably been hitting our desks about 3 times for the last 3 years. But the answer is, well, where else does the information come from? There's got to be a platform. There's got to be some area that lives that you actually control, and that's an important point that I'll come from. Do you control it? So where are those articles? Where do you host your podcast? Where is it available to people? So if that information is not there, what is the large language model actually reading? Where's it going out and getting it? Google My Business is one answer. The other one would be social media platforms. But that's why I want to talk about ownership. So actually, you were part of this the other day. So we have a client who's very Facebook heavy. They haven't built their website yet. They've engaged with us, 2 weeks prior to this happening. They hadn't built their website yet. That's underway. They hadn't thought they need one. They'd done pretty well in business. It was time to grow, time to get their website. But they lived off Facebook. And what happened to their Facebook page?
Got hacked.
Yeah, so unfortunately this client's wife...
Not funny. I'm not laughing.
It wasn't funny. Well, it wasn't funny because you know how much it cost us to recover that bloody page for them. But yeah, so, it was a sucky situation. They had a beautiful following. It's a phenomenal product. This client's wife hadn't actually put 2-factor authentication on her Instagram page. They got through the Instagram page, then hacked into the Meta account as a result of that. And their entire business profile and following of years and years of building reputation had disappeared because it's not a platform they control.
Yeah.
So when we think about a website, we want to go, okay, we own the domain name, and that's actually a great legal process in Australia. So are you the registrant contact of your own domain name? Who do you host with? Is it a reputable provider? Is it someone I can actually ring and get an answer versus most of the big providers that charge you $20 a month and don't actually do anything for you? So if something goes on, you can get it, you own it. Facebook isn't that platform. That's Mark Zuckerberg's last time I checked, and a lot of shareholders. And I feel the same way about Google My Business. So we have plenty of examples for clients where Google My Business might just be temporary closed, suspended. You know, people can go and report those things, and they can report them for the strangest reasons, and suddenly your Google My Business page loses its profile. So do you own it? Important, and therefore will the website exist? Yeah, I think it will. They're going to get easier to build. They're going to be much faster to build. Something we're exploring every day is, can we just build a website with AI? Answer currently is no, not a good one. And where does your content going to be? Again, you know, you look at, okay, I'm going to release all my content via video and socials. Well, where do you put your content? Probably on YouTube. You don't own your YouTube channel either. At the end of the day, it's not yours. So they're the considerations we'd have. And yes, I think there'll be websites for that reason if you want ultimate control.
Not many business owners don't want that, so...
Yeah, why would you say that? What makes you want to
From the few I interact with.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay.
Okay, so if I'm running a business now, what's the smartest move to kind of get ahead of the shift?
Yeah, I think that awareness, as I've said, of what's important to your business, but probably... actually, I'll start that again. So first of all, awareness of how important AI in terms of marketing and sales is going to be to your business. Just have that awareness so that you either go, this is something we really need to invest in, or it's something that we just need to be aware of moving forward. First and foremost, really understanding your unique selling proposition, what you would want to be found for. So I don't think we're going to keep being able to keep surviving on best electricians Perth, because all of those results are just going to sort of get lumped in. But do you specialise in a particular type of electrical? Do you specialise in a particular geographic region? Do you specialise in the way that you deliver service? So that might be like, we're the 1 hour electrician, we will be there in an hour. Completely impossible. Don't know how someone would run that business model, but first thing that came to mind. So what are those things that if someone had that strong search intent, you're actually going to come together for? And I guess the argument could be made, well, I can make sure that I do 5 of those different things. Sure, go for it. It's just going to be a little bit harder to make sure you have that credibility around all of those 5. Make sure your GMB is up to date. Make sure that your reviews are on. Make sure you're posting content on your GMB page. So people often forget to do that. You can post content on your GMB page, and make sure those reviews, if you can get them, do match the services that you offer. So we want managed marketing services in our reviews, obviously. And then the last one is really dig into that search intent. Really start to think about what is it that people would look for, what are those longer form sentences that they would have, and then get in there and test yourself on that stuff. See where your business comes. I know it's crazy, but I have this belief that it doesn't matter how big your business is, you should be logging onto your website and looking at it. You should be testing a form fill on your website and making sure it gets through to the right person. But I, now in AI, would be going on and being like, what does the world say about Mel Strutt? Now that's a damaging thing to search. No, I'm just kidding. But you know, who's the best marketing provider in Perth? Who's this, who's that? And I want to see what results come out from that. So be engaged in it. If it's a big part of your business. If it's not, search isn't a big part of your business, you've probably got a little bit more time.
Awesome. Thank you. I think I'm out of questions.
That's very rare.
Give me 5 minutes. I'll think of more.
Okay, easy done. Thanks so much, Meet.
Thanks, Strutt.